Thanks, Anton, for warming up the audience. I hope you got up. First, I decided to come here as Steve Ballmer did, you may remember, but after Roman, I thought that maybe I'll add some drama instead. Please raise your hands. Do we have any UX designers in this room? Any? 1, 2? Oh my God, what a shame. So guys, please retell them this story because they have to know that. My name is Sasha, again. I'm a senior product designer at Pentalog. I'm a co-owner and one of the community managers at Yatak Visual Design Community and the mentor at Techville Academy. For the past 2 years, I was a UX design team lead and managed a fully remote team of 6 UX designers for the second biggest sportswear company in the world. It was we were taking part of the B2B product. It was a wholesale e-commerce platform for retailers where they were able to browse catalogs. Sorry, too early. They were able to browse catalogs, compose giant carts with products, track their orders, and do many more stuff. And by the end of last year, they gained this amount of money. I can't tell it, but yeah, you can imagine that it's a lot. But it wasn't always like that. At the beginning of pandemic, our client cut budgets as many other companies in the world because it was a crisis. But in the beginning of the next year, in 2021, we started a new initiative. It was a sort of experiment. We wanted to take what we had as experience from the pandemic, work from home, when many people had to do their things by themselves without any particular help. We took it as a basis, and we wanted to help the company recover faster and to cut their spending so that they could gain more money and save where they can save money. Historically, we had several types of clients, several types of customers, small ones, medium ones, big ones, and very big ones. So we had the very big customers, and these very big customers were never actually using our product. They can't afford it. Instead, there was an army of sales representatives who were serving them daily. So they were doing everything instead of these customers. So we asked ourselves a question: how might we onboard these very big customers so that they could bring more money in our product and do all the things that they previously did with the help of sales representatives, but by themselves? So how it was before? All the task flow that we had in our product worked like that. We had several regional sales teams spread through the world. We had the product team and the rest of the people who were working on delivery. So historically, the sales teams were addressing some needs and allocating budgets to our product team, asking them, please guys, do something, we have money, go on. Product team was composing some objectives out of it and addressing it to the design team so we could actually design this new solution. So we were always asking questions. Why do we need to do that? Because as you may understand, we had no or almost no data behind all these needs. We had money, we had budgets, we had OKR, please go on. So we were asking, do we really need it? Product owners said, yes, sure, yes, our users want it. Please, come on, do. And did somebody count the amount of these memes today? I think it's kind of the most popular one. So it was my constant feeling when I was working there. It was always on fire, and we had to do it and finish it for yesterday. So it was kind of frustrating, right? Because we were working blindly, we had no data behind all our decisions. It was not that good. This time it was the same. All the sales organizations came to us asking, hey guys, we need an Excel integration. Please do that. So what we did, no, not us, product owners. They did not ask any questions because budgets were allocated. Everybody wants to have an Excel integration of spreadsheets in our product, so what else to ask? Let's work. So they addressed us an OKR again, but this time we felt that there was a conspiracy here, because we felt we miss some key parts. We don't have the data. We thought that there was no real need behind this request. We again asked questions. Product owners had nothing to answer, but this time we proposed them something back. So we proposed them to make a research, a user research, something that they never did before. Again, it's a B2B, it's huge amount of money. Again, not that much time, so they have to move forward. So we asked them to perform the user research. And they agreed, and by that we literally blew minds of our sales teams, because previously it was their privilege to talk to real users. Nobody except of them were really talking to users, because again, it's a B2B, they were in charge of that, that's it. Shut up and do your work. So what was the research? During the next 4 weeks, it was a really hard one. During the next 4 weeks, we managed to talk to people, to final users from all these 4 groups of users in 6 languages, spread through 11 focus groups, because it was almost impossible to conduct one-on-one interviews with everybody, from 26 countries in the world. It's kind of crazy, because I had to got up at 5 a.m. to talk with people from Australia, and not only me. Results were really, really good, really surprising, because out of this research, we managed really to find the real root causes from this request of having Excel integration. And what to do next? Because when we showed the results, it looked like all these stickers, all these root causes might be a separate feature, separate thing to do, separate budget allocated to that. So what to focus on? For us, the answer was clear. At Pentalog, we have a rich history of conducting design sprints, helping our clients validate their ideas fast and cheap. So this time we propose to do the same. Let's run a design sprint, we said. They agreed again, which was a huge luck, and we started. So for those who have no idea what design sprint is, take a look. It's a very, very interesting book. It describes really well the whole method, which basically consists of 5 simple steps. But before that, you have to gather a team. So sprint team is really, really key part of this process. In order to have a good design sprint, a productive one, you have to gather the more diverse team that you can. That's why we had such people as solution architects who were represented, the engineering team. We had the sales manager and sales developer presenting the sales team. We had product owners who were dealing with the product itself, and 2 UX designers. Then you have to spread the roles. There are just 2 major roles in every design sprint, which is a decider, the person who really takes responsibility on everything that the sprint team decides, and the facilitator, person who makes it happen all days. Last but not least, we brought the rest of design team into the sprint. They were not interfering, but following us, shadowing, so that they could help us later. What was next? As I said, sprint is a clear process having 5 simple steps and is conducted in 5 days. So on Monday, we started by talking to experts, internal experts. We gathered a lot of data from our end users, a lot of feedback. So now we had to share it with the internal experts to find some hidden dependencies, to find some cross-dependencies between the products, and some fast ways to implement something, whether we have to reuse or start from scratch. So then we agreed on target, which is also the next important thing, because you may know that people might not agree with others' opinion from time to time, but teamwork means that you have the common target. Then we met the whole challenge by means of these how might we questions. Next day, on Tuesday, we started with the lightning demo. It was a quick presentation of other products, how they deal with these challenges that we defined, how they solved it, what were the obstacles, if we know them, of course, and then every team member started sketching individually their own vision of the future solution. So it was the right moment to showcase your creativity, to use it, to think out of the box, to put on paper everything that you think should be there in our final solution. Our Wednesday started with the demo, but not of the other products, but with the ideas of all the people who were taking part from this sprint team. So they were presenting their drawings, demoing what they draw and why, and then we voted for the best ideas so that later we can compose them into one. And on Thursday, the design team started preparing prototypes. We didn't manage to do it in one day because the scope was very big, so it took us 4 days to create 2 clickable prototypes, very realistic ones, because we were using design system. There were 1 prototype in English and 1 in Spanish, because we were testing it again with a big variety of users through the world. Classical sprint ends on Friday, where you have to test your prototype with these real users. You put this prototype in front of the user, ask them to perform some actions, and you then follow how they do that. So for us, it was next Wednesday when we conducted not less than 5 user tests with remote moderated user tests with representatives from every user group. So you can count how many people there were. After that, we came to the team. But why our design sprint was that long? Because I told you it's just 5-day process. For us, it took 10 days. First takeaway is that we have chosen the wrong, or maybe not the wrong, but too big goal. So the scope was too broad. If you want to conduct a classical 5-day sprint and to make it more efficient, you have to put some realistic targets in front of you. So you may ask me, what were the benefits of having such a big and intense design sprint? Because previously we had no sprints and it worked somehow. I showed you that product owners were writing some OKRs, addressing it to us, and we were doing something. But this time, everybody was happy, because previously somebody wasn't happy, many people, because of different reasons. So this time, the product owners were happy after the sprint because they managed to validate the idea that they had. That really excel integration in the way how we thought it should be done was really something that people needed. Then they managed to create a huge backlog for the next 15 months, something that was not realistic previously with the previous approach. Why it was like that? Because during the test, we validated several different functionalities that might help us work with this Excel integration. So every piece of functionality, every idea was put in the backlog. And I assure you that for the next 15 months, we were doing that, we were building that. So by this, they managed to save budgets, cut the spending, and report it to their bosses. Bosses were happy, product owners were happy. Win-win. What's next? The sales team was very happy because with the help of this design sprint, they managed to find some weak points. So during the research and sprint, they managed to find some weak points in the ordering process and the process when they work with sales reps are working with customers. So by that, they enhanced the way how the user actually perform some actions, order products, how they use the product. By that, they reduce the workload for sales reps and the amount of appeals to the customer support, so users were able to work by themselves, absolutely, by themselves. Then engineering team was also happy because first of all, by means of that sprint, we received the transparency on everything that's going on there. So maybe you remember one of the previous presentations from our colleague from Ukraine who told that because of designers, security, blah, 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 something. So we had no issues like that because developers were there from day one. So they were implicated from day one into the product, into the process. So they identified the cross dependencies, some problematic points, and all this stuff. By that, they were able to estimate the whole work that they will do later more accurately and to commit only on feasible features, not on everything that the product owner wants them to do. And of course, last but not least, they were not writing the useless code and useless test scenarios that everybody will hate and will rewrite, redo after the release because something is not working and etc. Design team was, I think, the most happiest because by that design sprint, we managed to promote the whole idea of applying design thinking as a method to everything that we're going to do later. We were able to talk to real users for the first time ever. We really learned who are our users and how they work. We managed to introduce the new managing role into design team, which is UX governance, the person who will gonna later create the lead to B2B products and create the proper UX strategy for these products. And last but not least, we improved by all that the design maturity for the whole B2B department, because all the processes and all the frameworks that we used, they took as a good example. Users were also happy, because for the first time ever, they were able to complain, cry, share their feedback, and talk to the people who developed the product that they used daily. They were able to test the future solutions that will be rolled out in a couple of months that created a sense of importance for them, the sense of predictability because they knew what they will have in the future. And also, I think the most important, they knew that their voices were heard by us. We listened to them. So, a couple of lessons learned that might help you conduct design sprint in the future and to make it more efficient. First of all, rely on data. Dear community, please, everything that you do in future, please put the data in the basis, because without that, you are working with assumptions only. When you address something to your designers, give them the opportunity to research. If you have this data, share it with them. Don't work in your own bubble, because everybody will gonna lose because of that approach. The best ideas are always coming while combining qualitative and quantitative data. Only these two types of data will gonna help you build the products that people want, need, and they will love and will gonna pay for it in the future. People are not the companies. It relates to B2B mostly, because maybe from your experience you know that from time to time you have to implement something that nobody actually uses but everybody needed. So in our case, it was the same thing with the Excel. So nobody actually wanted to deal with the spreadsheets, but the way how spreadsheets work and the way how their company works with spreadsheets was needed for them, because of lack of this functionality, they had to do a lot of work manually. So always listen to the people what they ask. From time to time, they might ask you to implement something, not because this will gonna ease up their life, but just because their company has some internal processes that need it. So pay attention on these details. Trust the method. It's one of the most important things when you're trying to apply in any framework. Of course, we have to be agile and adopt when it's possible. But if you want to have a successful design sprint, you have to focus on several key points. First of all, be very accurate with timing, because if you'll not track time correctly, you're gonna end up like we, with 10-day design sprint. Then put a realistic target. Again, too broad scope will not gonna help you. You're gonna have much more work to do, and the focus of your users while testing your prototype will be vanished. They will not be able to focus on something concrete. A reasonable amount of participants is also a key, because for people who work at enterprise, you may know that they want to bring all the stakeholders or all the management team into some meetings, even though these people are not following, they are not listening, they are not talking, they are on mute with cameras turned off, but that's the process, that's the procedure that you have to follow, right? So here, please don't bring everybody, it's useless. Bring just up to 7 people who are gonna work, contribute for 5 days with no distractors. Also, a key, as I said in the beginning, is a diversity. The more different people you have in your team that might bring different perspectives, some knowledge from their domain, the more productive sprint you're gonna have. Design sprint and design thinking, these are the very similar in some ways methods and tools that can use actually everybody, not only designers. So don't be misled by the word design here. That's what I was telling to my teammates when we worked for that client. That's what I'm telling to my students. So, dear community, today I have a privilege to present the 2nd edition of the course that I launched this year together with Technical Academy. It's a very first course at this academy for related to UX design. The 2nd edition that we're gonna start on 14th of November, we're gonna have 50 hours of theory and practice. We'll learn how design thinking is working, how to apply it. We're gonna learn how to research, how to build prototypes, how to run user tests. We're gonna try the method of design sprint. Today you have the special promo code MDC 2022. You just have to scan this QR code and please sign in. It works for everybody, not only for designers, as I said. And basically that's it. Thanks for listening. Let's keep in touch. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Thank you. Yeah, I know we still have time, but we're a bit running late. So, but if we have one question, we can, yeah. Let's have one question.
Как можно внедрить дизайн-спринты, если ты простой смертный дизайнер? Может, все-таки это ответственность продукт-менеджера?
Я бы сказал, что это не ответственность продукт-менеджера, это ответственность компании, которая должна расти каким-то образом. Любой дизайн-процесс, на самом деле любой процесс, не только относящийся к дизайну, к нему компания приходит, когда она достаточно зрелая. Если у нее уже накоплен определенный опыт, определенные шишки, если они поняли и вырастили у себя в компании лидов, тим-лидов, имею в виду, или каких-то менеджеров, которые управляют компаниями и процессами, тогда они сами натурально приходят к тому, что им это нужно. Когда ты один маленький дизайнер в компании инженеров и у тебя нет сторонников на твоей стороне, тебе будет очень сложно продвинуть любое изменение, далеко не только дизайн-спринт. То есть там ты можешь перейти на другой инструмент, там, на фигму, к примеру, а все до этого работали, я не знаю, прости господи, с фотошопом, и им так было удобно. Понимаешь, и тебе будет очень тяжело это сделать одной. Это, увы, как говорил Рома в своей презентации, немногое можно сделать самому. Здесь нужно действительно иметь лида, иметь человека более синьора по опыту, который может это продвигать внутри компании. Но и компания сама должна до этого дойти.
Спасибо огромное. Thanks a lot.